Hello and welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us today. This is the Money Show. I am Nancy Ilo. I hope you have a great month, a great week at that, isn't it? The month of August. Welcome. I've seen a lot of people sending me tweets. Today is not my birthday. Today is just my birth month. Today starts my birth month. My birthday is actually on Friday. So thank you to those that have sent me happy birthday in advance. I needed to say that it's on Friday. But let's move over to some kind of serious issues. Where should I start from? Is it budget padding? Is it insertions? Or what is it about? I heard one honorable on Benga's show just earlier saying it's outright stealing. Talking about budget 2016 that has been signed by President Muhammadu Buhari. What should we make of this? How much of a crime is this, an economic crime, so to speak? Because if we take a look at it, Nigeria is plagued now with a recession, plagued with unemployment, plagued with inflation, plagued with kidnapping, armed robbery. We're still battling Boko Haram insurgency and all of that. And what we are just hearing in the country right now is who padded what and all of that. Our leaders actually are they out for serious business? Today on the program, I'll still be looking at the 2016 budget padding or insertions, the budget padding controversy. What is this crisis about, really? There's also a term called the pork barrel. If you have your phone right now, Google it. What's the pork barrel? I'll be telling you more about that within the program, of course, whereby legislators do assign some kind of money to themselves for constituency projects. It is in the United States, though some use it as a derogatory term, but we will be looking at all that on the program today. But let's get started with the top stories. The Debt Management Office said that the federal government spent 1.02 trillion naira to service its local debt in 2015. This comprises 25 billion naira spent on repayment of the principal and 993.13 billion naira on interest payments in 2015. As at the end of December of last year, Nigeria's total public debt stock stood at 12.6 trillion naira compared to 11.25 trillion naira in 2014. The difference represents an increase of 12%, or about 1.37 trillion naira within the one-year period. External debt accounted for 2.11 trillion naira, 16.75% of the total, while domestic debt took the remaining 10.49 trillion, or about 3.25%. Out of this amount, the federal government domestic debt was at 8.5 trillion naira. Now let's talk about Nigeria's GDP. The federal government plans to raise Nigeria's gross domestic product by 10.2 trillion naira next year, from 98.5 trillion naira in 2016 to 108.7 trillion naira in 2017. Of course, GDP is the total value of goods and services within the period of time in a country. The 10.2 trillion naira in the GDP is part of the proposal by the federal government in the MTEP, that is the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework, that will be submitted to the National Assembly in October this year. The MTEP provides the basis for annual budget planning, and it consists of a macroeconomic framework that indicates fiscal targets, estimates revenues and expenditure, including government financial obligations in the medium term. The Central Bank of Nigeria will this week mop up 245 billion naira from the interbank money market in a bid to reduce money supply in the economy. Meanwhile, cost of funds in the interbank money market fell by more than 50% last week due to inflow of 315 billion naira, which increased the amount of idle funds in the market. Last week, the market experienced 315 billion naira inflow, comprising 268 billion naira from the Federation Allocation Accounts Committee (FAC) funds and 47 billion naira representing coupon, which is the interest payment from federal government bond maturing in 2022. So many words to chew. Consequently, market liquidity rose from minus 700 million naira the previous week to 433 billion naira at the close of business last Friday. The federal government is presently in talks with the African Development Bank for a $1 billion loan that will enable the country's finance its record 6.06 trillion naira 2016 budget. The 2016 budget performance so far at 5% is widely seen as reflective of the low revenue turnout. Of course, Finance Minister Kemi Adeosun had disclosed that government will begin to engage international borrowings in this third quarter as revenues shrink on account of low oil incomes. Let's talk about the price of oil today. Oil prices are rising, driven by new orders as traders staked out positions at the start of the new month. But the market remained dogged by plentiful crude supplies, a flood of refined products, and a weakening economic outlook. Brent crude traded for $3.72 a barrel in early trade today, up 19 cents from its last close in July, when it lost 12% over the last month. U.S. West Texas Intermediate was at $41.76 a barrel, up 16 cents from July last close. WTI shared about 13% last month. Let's take this report now on the 2016 budget pardon. Of course, 2016 budget, though late, was finally passed in April, and President Buhari signed it into law on the 6th of May 2016. Now, tension trails the House of Representatives. Of course, and as the crisis was sparked by the removal of the chairman of the former Appropriations Committee chairman, Abdul Mumin Jibrin, from his post, which was announced by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara. That was on the 20th of July. Let's take a listen to Phoebe Tukuru.
Trouble hangs between the executive and legislative arms of government as the federal government moves to punish the brains behind the insertion of illegal projects worth 481 billion naira by the National Assembly into the 2016 budget. Although President Muhammadu Buhari assented to this year's budget late, the executive is settled that the fiscal document will not be fully implemented given the pardon of the budget, which it claims had seriously distorted its plans. The presidency has directed Office of the Attorney General of the Federation to set in motion a team to probe how the 481 billion naira was added to the budget and who spearheaded the action. Acting on the President's directive, the Office of the AGF has assigned a senior police officer to carry out the probe of top National Assembly officials believed to have conspired amongst themselves to pad the budget and report back within a short time for necessary disciplinary action, including criminal prosecution. The aim of the investigation was to ensure that the masterminds were brought to book to serve as a deterrent to will-be corrupt officials in the country. The panel will determine the criminal roles played by those involved in the action and how much money was hidden away, and the agencies of government involved in the budget scam. Major issues to be determined by the probe include who got what for what project, how much the leaders and members of the Senate and House of Representatives pushed into their respective MDAs to be warehoused for them and the agencies involved. The federal government is finding out and punishing all those heads of parastatals who allow themselves to be used by influential persons in the executive and legislative arms of government by
All right, welcome back. Let's quickly take a break, and when we come back, of course, the program continues. Do stay.
We need to, as much as possible, see how to. It's going to be very difficult to continue to operate the way we were operating before.
The man is a businessman, so to speak. The wife is a salary earner at the end of the month. Are you saying they shouldn't have a joint account?
I'm advising that if you're a businessman, it's not healthy for you to say you want to have a joint account with your wife on your business account.
Can we say that Nigeria's public debt portfolio is cool at this time? Do we have critical infrastructures that can drive businesses? Are we also unfair a bit to President Buhari's men? All right, welcome back. The Nigerian stock exchange last Friday, the All-Share Index was down by about 13 points. The All-Share Index finished at 28,000 points level. Market cap closed at 9.61 trillion. The deals ended at 4,427 transactions, while investors staked a total of 4.53 billion naira on 393.28 million ordinary shares. The top gainers for Friday were Fidelity Bank, Continental Insurance, and ICO Insurance, while the losers included Union Bank and PZ. Moving over to other African markets today, the South African market opened in the positive territory. Talking about the Nairobi Securities Exchange in Kenya, also opened in the positive, while the Egyptian exchange opened in negative territory. Moving over to the United States, it was a missed close last Friday. The three major averages that we do watch for you, Nasdaq and S&P 500 were in the green, while Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 13 points. European markets opened all in the positive today. The German markets are higher at about 1%. While in the Asian region, of course, the Asian markets are closed, but we have those numbers. Okay, we're looking at majority of the numbers in the green, from Japan to Hong Kong to South Korea, all ended in the green. While talking about commodities today, I did tell you earlier that Brent crude is trading for $3, while gold is doing $1,346 an ounce. Cocoa is down nearly 1%. All right, let's quickly take a break, and when we come back from the break, it will be time for us to get our conversation on the way. Of course, we will be talking about the 2016 budget controversy. Is it about padding? Is it in sessions? Or what is it? Is it pork barrel? You know, there's a word called pork barrel. Or is it just about outright fraud? Or is it also constitutional? Is it also, is the House actually empowered to do all of that? My guest will be joining Honorable Simon Arabo, of course, a member of the House of Representatives, as well as Honorable E.J. Agbonnaima. I hope I got that right. Also a member of the House of Reps. They will be joining me after the break. Do stay. Don't forget to tweet. My handle is at Nancy Ilo.
We need to, as much as possible, see how to bear. It's going to be very difficult to continue to operate the way we were operating before.
The man is a businessman, so to speak. The wife is a salary earner at the end of the month. Are you saying they shouldn't have a joint account?
I'm advising that if you're a businessman, it's not healthy for you to say you want to have a joint account with your wife on your business account.
Can we say that Nigeria's public debt portfolio is cool at this time? Do we have critical infrastructures that can drive businesses? Are we also unfair a bit to President Buhari's men? All right, welcome back. In case you're just joining us, thank you for joining us. Of course, it's time for our conversation. We'll be looking at the 2016 budget padding, or is it insertions, or whatever it is. Joining me right now, my guests, of course, are two honorables, the House of Representatives. Let me start my introduction from my immediate left. He's Honorable E.J. Agbonyima. He's the chairman, Ad Hoc Committee, Nigeria Railway Corporation, Federal Ministry of Transport, and Shopee. Is there still Shopee?
Well, there is no, but I guess they were involved in the railway.
Okay.
So we are still doing our oversight function, investigating
Okay.
the manner, the way and manner that the money was expended.
Okay.
Billions of taxpayers' money went
Okay.
to voicemail.
I hope you're not surprised that I asked if there's Shopee, because I think there's no Shopee anymore.
There's
so
no more Shopee, but
yeah.
the people who supervise the Shopee, they are still alive. They are not dead. So there must be, investigation must continue.
Okay. Every day we wake up one investigation or the other. Of course, Honorable EJ is also the chairman, United States Congressional Nigeria House of Reps Parliament or Parliamentary. Okay.
Yeah, relationship.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Thank you, our viewers.
All right. Close to him also is another Honorable Simon Arabo. He's a member of the Federal House of Representatives representing Kauru Federal Constituency of Kaduna State. He's the chairman, House Committee on Delegated Legislations. Welcome, Honorable Simon, and good to see you. Thank you for joining me on the show.
Thank you very much.
Where should we start from? You know, I've been watching the situation closely for like a week now, or 2 weeks since it broke out. I just said, okay, I needed to look at it today on the program because it's about economy, so to speak. If what we're getting to here or the alleged corruption is right, is an economic crime. But let me start with you, Honorable EJ. What exactly is happening? What is the crisis about? What exactly is the problem? What is happening? Because you're on recess now, isn't it?
Yeah, we're on recess, of course.
So what's the problem? What's
Well,
the crisis about?
I should be asking also the media, which I also belong to. It's another ploy that those external forces, in collaboration with some of the members in the House, to give a dog a bad name at the end of the day. What is padding? Padding is not, it does not even arise when you're talking about, the issue of National Assembly. It is our constitutional right. When a budget is presented by Mr. President, it is an estimate, and it's a proposal. The National Assembly have the constitutional right to remove, to add, and when you begin to say the assertion that padding, it does not. I will want to read the Constitution to you so that Nigeria can get it right. Because there's a cheap blackmail here. If it is not, cars, vehicles, that we are buying Jeeps, which I don't have up to today, no even vehicle, no even Camry, no even Tokumbo, from what we're hearing, just to blackmail National Assembly. We are not a board of contention. I think they should.
Is it that Prado Jeeps were not bought? Or it hasn't gotten to your own wing of the National Assembly?
I don't know.
Come
you have?
Honorable.
No.
Is it that the Prados were not bought?
I don't have.
Senators?
No, it wasn't
for
bought.
For the fact that you don't have, does it mean that it wasn't bought? Or that
was
Prado Jeeps were not given to the upper chamber of the
That's
National
why
Assembly?
you are journalists, you should go about doing investigative journalism. Not just speculation, not a hearsay, not rumor. You must go about, that is what happens on that part of the world. So it's not just sensational news. Like padding situation that you just asked. For God's sake, Nigerians are suffering. Why do we have to divert attention to National Assembly always? I was hearing Mr. former President Obasanjo castigating National Assembly. I heard my fellow brother, that is a senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, criticizing, say things that does not even amount to anything. These are constitutional right of the National Assembly member. I represent the constituency, the good people of Ego Ikobaka Federal Constituency. They elected me to represent them, and I must be accountable, I must be responsible to them. So I'm not here only to move motion, to sponsor bills, but I must do everything that is necessary to bring to bear, to bring federal present, constituency present, government present, zonal intervention project to the doorstep of my people. If I cannot do it, then why am I here? So you are telling me that I don't have right to lobby. I was a lobbyist in the United States of America for many years. You lobby to get things done in your constituency. It's not corruption. It's about Nigerians. I'm not doing it for myself. But when you decide to put project in your constituency, and at the end of the day, that job is not done, then it's another issue entirely. Well, you can be held responsible for that. But when you are doing everything to put a project in your constituency, you are not calling it padding. First of all, when the budget came in, we heard about budget smuggling, budget missing. We went through all that. Thank God today, well, I'm not holding brief for Mr. President. I know very well Mr. President is a genuine, he means well for this country. Like when somebody like former President Obasanjo is talking about corruption, I don't want to even listen to him. Because he's the godfather of corruption in this country. He ruled this country for how many years? 8 years. Nothing to write home about. $16 billion power project. Where is power? Bola Ige was killed. And I'm happy, I must congratulate Mr. President for reopening the death of Bola Ige, Harry Marshall, and many others. Even our brother, our former Senate President, Dr. Chuba Akadibo, they must be investigated how they died. You're talking about Apple Legislative Quarters. Because of Totem, he sold everything for peanuts. This is Nigeria's property, premium property. He sold them at nothing because of Totem. He spent 50 million naira to each House of Rep member and 100 million to senator. And this is the man that is talking shouting corruption. Okay. The man that is, he's the godfather of corruption. Okay. So the National Assembly is not a trial. It is unfortunate where we have found ourselves, where those who, now we have external forces who want to remove Mr. Speaker, that Mr. Speaker must step aside. Okay. Are you not telling me that if Mr. President is being accused tomorrow, they will ask you to step aside? That is not possible. It's not possible. Mr. Speaker, the man, that young man, I have seen him as somebody that is willing to move this country forward. Okay. And we must get it right now. Let's put Nigeria first. Let's talk about Nigerians. The economy is dwindled. Now we have not been able to be accountable to our people. The youth are crying. The women out there are crying. Nigerians are suffering. We are talking about budget. It is my constitutional right to put budget in my various local government, my wards. That is where I represent Ego Ikobaka Federal Constituency, which my colleagues also have the right. The constitutional right is given to us. And I will read the constitution to you. Okay,
you'll read it in a bit, Honorable, because you've said a lot of things. I'm keeping up pace with you, so I'll take you up on a few things later. Honorable,
I'm here.
Honorable Simon, what do you think is a constitutional right, as Honorable has said? He said a lot of things, actually. It's a constitutional right. You can actually get those. You can lobby to have zonal projects in your constituency. External forces fighting right now. Are you on the same page with him, or you have a different opinion?
Let me start by saying that this controversy on this 2016 Appropriation Act, it's an act now. It's very sad, unfortunate, and regrettable. Because the former chairman of the House Committee on Appropriation, who started all this, is not just rubbishing the integrity of the four leaders he's talking about, but in the entire institution of the National Assembly. And I find it very, very painful. Firstly, there's a budget process. Now, the president submits the estimates under Section 81 of the Constitution. It is gazetted as an appropriation bill. At that time, it's not a law. It only becomes a law the day the president assents to it. And if you look at Section 80, Section 4 of the Constitution, the way and manner that funds are supposed to spend from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation or any other public fund is supposed to be in the way and manner the National Assembly actually spent in the Appropriation Act bill, which now becomes an act the day the president signs it. Now, this issue of padding, as a lawyer, I'm not aware of any legislation that describes an offense of padding. I was reading the papers today and somebody is trying to differentiate between padding and insertion. To me, I mean, it's funny.
What's funny about it?
Funny in the sense that we are talking about is the same thing as 6.5 dozen. Now, we have not been told that the 2016 Appropriation Act signed by the president, that the figure is more than what was presented. Now, are we talking about padding in relation to...
The figure more, you're talking of the total budget, or we're talking about some constitutional project or some things that are supposed to be done that some monies were added to it. We're not talking of the total figure. The total figure is still about 6.06 or 6.07 trillion.
I am coming to that. Now, if you are talking about the zonal or consensus projects, there can't be, I mean, you cannot be talking about padding there because it has been a tradition. And it's already signed into law because this year in the 2016 Appropriation Act, there's a budget of about 100 billion for zonal consensus projects. And as a matter of tradition, the leadership gets more than other members across in the National Assembly. So when you talk about padding, I keep asking, are you saying that the line items in the budget are fictitious? And in any event, who executes the budget? Isn't it the executive? Has the government lost a dime on account of these projects? Is there any government agency that has been told to go and acquire wind or construct wind? So what makes the projects fictitious?
There are some projects that are there or that have been there for a long time. Let's say, for example, buying antivirus, for example, that is in the budget with fictitious and outrageous sums of money.
Now,
at the end of the day, and these are these are line items that the House members looked at. And you know, you said something which I'll come back to in a short while, that former President Obasanjo is the godfather of corruption. I will need your clarification on that, because if you said he's the godfather, that this started in 1999, it takes two to tango. So what was done at that point to stop the corruption? But I'll come to you. You answer that in a bit. Honorable Simon,
yes. Continue. Well, the point I'm driving at is this: it is the executive that executes the budget. At this stage, it's only we're only talking about allegations. We have not been told that anybody has breached the Due Process Act. No monies have been stolen. So what are we talking about? Those are supposed to execute is the executive. It would have been a different thing if we had been told that there's a line item in the budget that says, well, you are supposed to acquire some illegal materials. Or that or somebody says, well, there's a line item in the budget and MDA is expected to go and import cocaine. But that's not the issue. It is the executive that's supposed to execute the budget.
Okay, Honorable, as a lawyer,
yes.
You're a lawyer, isn't it?
Yes, I'm a lawyer.
Can legislators add to what the executive brings as budget? But you can remove and subtract, but can you add? Because he mentioned Femi Falana, and I watched him, I think, last week. He did say that you have the power, that is the House has the power to remove or to say, okay, let's allocate 400 million. Okay, this is falling short. We can add 200 million to this. I'm just summarizing what he said. Yeah, but we cannot add. No. I'm saying before that, he said the House cannot add, cannot make that, for example, 400 million, 500 or 500 million. Are you a lawyer? What do you think?
No, well,
because it's for the executive to bring the budget to the House.
Yes. Now, you see, under the 1999 Constitution, if you read Section 59, it gives the Parliament the power to make, to tinker with the budget. The same thing with Section 80 subsection 4. 80. Subsection 4. It gives the Parliament power. But you see the issue of whether the Parliament can add, which is not even the issue now. The issue is not that National Assembly has added, has added funds to the budget. That's not the issue.
But can we clarify
No, wait, because under the 1979 Constitution, I am aware that there was an issue at the Kaduna State House of Assembly that because under Section 81, the Appropriation Act is an executive bill. Now, there was a ruling by the High Court in Kaduna then that you cannot, that the State Assembly cannot add to the figure presented by the executive, because in that case it will become an issue. It will become a bill as if it's coming from the legislature. But if you look at the 1999 Constitution, Section 4, Section 59 talks about the House and the Senate having different versions, and then you have a joint conference committee. Now, as far as I am concerned, under the budget process, if you look at the 1999 Constitution very, very well, the House has the power, the National Assembly has the power to tinker with the...
what does tinker mean?
Well, to make, adjustments to the figures.
Adjustment higher adjustment or lower adjustment, or just put it like that?
Well, even in this 2016 Appropriation Act, it was not added. In fact, as a matter of fact, the act that was signed by the president is lower than the initial figure.
So what would you say about Honorable Abdul Mumin Jibrin's his allegations and all of that so much corruption is going on in the House? What would you say about that? Because a lot of people have said, I even listened to the program Focus Nigeria, and a former honorable, yes, he actually said that pardon is a fraction of the fraud. I quote him correctly. Pardon is a fraction of the fraud that has been going on and on, that all honorables that in the House of Representatives know that this thing happens. Well, so Jibrin is coming out now like a whistleblower. What do you think?
Well, what Jibrin has done, like I said in my opening statement, is very, very sad, because he is rubbishing the entire National Assembly. I have no apology to say that. As a matter of fact, he defended the Appropriation Act after it was signed and said everything was well, until he was removed as the Appropriation Committee Chair. It is highly uncharitable. I listened to Focus Nigeria this morning, the former honorable members, and I just shook my head, because it is not fair to label everybody.
But is it happening or not?
No, wait. To label everybody. I am a committee chair.
Yes.
He said that committee chairmen make returns to the speaker. But that's a very unfortunate statement. I'm not aware of that.
But is something like that happening or not? Is the House totally clean?
Let me tell you
something. Is Nigeria totally clean?
So that means the House is not clean?
No, well,
if that's the argument.
Go about that, whether Nigeria is clean or not clean. But the issue here, let us focus. And where we have found ourselves is very disheartening for me. I'm a first-timer. This is my first tenure. And see what is happening today. I am praying that Nigeria gets to where we ought to be. If we continue in this line, it will be very unfortunate that nobody is talking about how to move this country forward. Rather, bigotry, cheap blackmail, and to be honest to you, there's nothing there. Now, you're talking about pardon. Let me read this is the Constitution. It said, power of National Assembly on appropriation. The power of National Assembly on appropriation are clearly spelled out in Section 4, 59 and 80, subsection 4 of the 1999 Constitution. Section 4 says, empowers the National Assembly to make laws for good governance of the Federation, while Section 59 confers on the legislature final say on the budget. Final say. It went further. Section 80, subsection 4. On the other hand, which confers on the legislature absolute power of control over public fund, state, no money shall be withdrawn from the Consolidated Revenue Fund or any other public fund of the Federation, except in the manner prescribed by the National Assembly. Now, let me tell you this. You want to give a dog a bad name. This is the Appropriation Act. This is it here. Are you not saying, like my friend, brother, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, will say that the National Assembly members we inserted to increase the budget, and at the end of the day, we now lay it back at the floor of the House. So that is a monumental abuse of just cheap blackmail, the cheapest blackmail in town. What is happening today is a ploy. They have designed a mechanism that where we must remove Speaker Dogara. Speaker Dogara is not on trial here. Nigeria, we are on trial because we have failed in our responsibility. If you look every sector in this country, is it the healthcare? Is it the education? Is it the road transport? Is it the federal road? Nothing to write home about. And we are smiling. Always smiling. Say we don't know how to smile, even when we are in pain. So that is why I said, to answer your question, that I will listen and support President Buhari on the war against corruption. If President Buhari is talking about corruption, I can listen because he means well. He's not materialistic. But not for somebody like former President Obasanjo talking about corruption. When you are talking about corruption, have you thought about $16 billion for power project in this country that was investigated, never saw the light of day? What happened? What happened? Why? Are you talking about the legislative quarters? Even the speaker's house, legislative house, at the Apple legislative quarter was sold. Go and investigate how much it was sold for. Because of third term. Which money did Obasanjo have when he left prison?
No.
He didn't have up to 20 million. But today, go to all the farm. He's the richest, one of the richest, former president in the whole world. So you are talking about corruption. He's the godfather of corruption.
So
I can say it over and over.
That means, with what you are saying, that the corruption started from 1999 when President Obasanjo became president. That means that the corruption is still going on.
No,
just
no,
like the honorable, hold on, just like the honorable.
On this very issue here, on this pardon issue, there's nothing to write home about.
Are you saying that the House of Representatives is really corrupt-free?
There's no perfection in humanity. See, I cannot say that everybody, but I know myself. I know my name, Agwanyima. I know what it means. So, if you are saying everybody is free, I'm not the one to say that. But I know that I'm free.
What is
so for you, media, you have a role to play for this country. Not just only National Assembly members alone, all Nigerians. Seeing a crime be committed and refusing to at least to say it the way it is, to report to the nearest law enforcement agency, you are as guilty as the person who committed the crime. There is no crime committed here, but pardon does not arise. When you're talking about pardon, what is pardon? Pardon is forging. Go and look at the meaning of pardon in the dictionary. It means forging. That is premeditation, to orchestrate a way and manner to defraud the system. That is pardon. This is not what we are talking about. Pardon is not the issue here, because we have the constitutional right, absolute constitutional right. President brings in budget, which is an estimate, a proposal. We, National Assembly members, we represent various constituencies.
How do
we
you
are closer to the people.
Good. The question is, are the legislators really representing the people? You've raised a myriad of challenges that the country is facing right now, because I'm perturbed by that. Our economy is not doing well. Inflation is rising. Unemployment is rising. All the economic indicators are not good. Kidnapping, all the social vices are on the increase. People are stealing food that if you are cooking, I know you have fantastic kitchens in your houses, so you don't cook outside. For those that cook outside, before you come out, your food is gone. That shows a different level of poverty. We are in a country right now where we have malnourished children. Yeah. People are dying. We have children that are like a minimum of 10 children,
location.
10 children dying daily because of malnutrition, and we are talking. So, do you actually think that the House or the legislators are really, just like you said, are really representing the people?
Is it
yes.
Well, I think by and large, if you look at the powers of the legislature, we're actually in a constitutional democracy anyway. Our powers in how we impact on the country derives from the Constitution and other laws. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the legislature has been playing its role. The law of lawmaking, the law of bringing up some issues on the floor, which needs some investigation. But the bulk of running the country, granted we are part of the federal government, but the bulk of running the system is with the executive. Our own is just to give a helping hand. Like the economic problems that we have, we're actually concerned, because the House has actually moved a lot of motion, passed a lot of resolutions to make sure that if there are things that are not done properly, they should be done properly. If there are areas in which there are leakages, they should be looked into, because the House, as a matter of fact, is solidly behind Mr. President in his fight against corruption by stopping leakages. Now, we are concerned because of the economic problems in the country, the social problems, the security challenges, and the rest of them. It is because of the concern of there is even the need. There is even the need now to pass the Northeast Commission of the country, because of this problem of insecurity. The legislature has actually been very, very supportive in the Niger Delta issue, the amnesty program, and the rest of them. So I think the bulk of running the country essentially rests with the executive.
Okay, what is this about constitutional projects or
Constituency projects?
Projects actually, because when I look at other clients, for example, I did mention the issue or the concept of pork barrel.
Yes,
pork
in
barrel
the US.
In the US, and,
Yes.
and let me define that, especially for our viewers. Pork barrel, of course, is a metaphor for the appropriation of government spending for localized projects secured solely or primarily to bring money to a representative's district. Of course, the term pork barrel politics usually refers to spending which is intended to benefit constituents of a politician in return for their political support, either in the form of campaign contributions or votes.
Yes.
Now, pork barrel, is it the same as constituency projects here?
It is
because we do know that there are some constituency projects that are domiciled in the house of some honorable members.
Well, let me start by saying that constituency projects in Nigeria, in our claim here, is a variant of, I mean, it's something like the pork barrel you're talking about in the US. Now, let me even start by saying that whoever brought that idea of constituency projects in Nigeria, my prayers go to him because my constituency had benefited from it.
Was it not the late president?
Yes.
Late President Yaradua?
Yes. And because otherwise...
May so rest in peace.
Yes. Otherwise, I know my constituency more than the Minister of Works, for example. So the issue of constituency project is actually a medium for members of the National Assembly, the 360 members, 109 senators, to make sure that projects are fixed in their various constituencies. And all that the members of the National Assembly do is to nominate projects. The MDAs are the ones that will appoint the contractors and execute the projects. So, constituency project is a very, very beautiful innovation, and because we know our constituency more than those who have, I mean, those in the executive. Because in the executive, the only people that are elected is the president and the vice president. Any other person there is an appointee.
Now, for honorables, for both of you.
I'm sorry, let me just, in addition
Okay.
to what you have just said, you're talking about the United States, you know, let's say this. Every year you see how much United States government, you know, pump into Nigeria in terms of grants, you know, financial aid, aiding us in all ramifications, various areas. And do you know how these are done in America? The Congress.
Yes, legislates.
The legislate,
Yeah.
okay, to help Nigeria. Can we even do that here? We are talking about my own constituency now. I am looking for a way to lobby to bring project, to
But
bring
lobbying,
government
does it
presence
come
to my constituency.
Now, Honorable
and
EJ,
there is big challenge.
Honorable,
And here, no, hold on.
Honorable
Now you are talking
EJ.
about America, United States, always giving back here, being legislated by the congressmen and women of the United States. We here at the National Assembly, you say we cannot. You have not turned it to padding to give us a bad name.
Now the issue is that
Doing our
it's good
constitutional right
now,
is unfair.
Lobbying,
It is just
does it
too
come?
unfair.
Does it come with a cost? Your lobbying to get constituency project, does it come with a cost or not?
Well, does
Does it come with a cost to you or not?
Let me tell you something. When you are lobbying, one, Mr. President brought a proposal, an estimate. Okay? It is my right, my duty to also let the leadership of the House also know that these are the area of needs for my constituency. Please, I want Mr. President to listen to the voice of my people. Because I do have a town hall meeting to reach out to them, the area of their needs. Maybe Mr. President have decided to go and put borehole water, which is, we are still celebrating borehole water in the 21st century. Is that borehole water we have to, when I can put borehole water in my house? You put borehole water, you put it as a constituency project, and you go and celebrate. And you commission with millions. You are commissioning borehole, 21st century. Is that not an embarrassment? Is that not a shame? I want to have good healthcare center, acquisition center, having good roads, building at least things that people can see, empowerment, human capacity building. Do we have that? We don't have that. This is another diversion of attention that they want to divert.
Are you saying that
that
Honorable
National Assembly
Jibrin,
is black.
hold on, gentlemen. Are you saying that Honorable Jibrin's allegation should just go to the donks and nothing should be done about it?
No.
Or should we encourage the shenanigans in
We are going
whatever
about
organ of government?
We are doing everything. We are doing our own investigation. It's a national. It's a national issue. It's a national embarrassment. I'm among those who have fought that impunity must stop. And again, I am against immunity. I don't want immunity. It's license to steal, license to kill, license to rob. Those who want to rob with gun. There are those who are robbing with pen, like President Obasanjo, who rob us, and he's talking now. He should go and hide his face. He's closer to God now. Let him just at least say, God, Father, forgive me my sin. You have sinned, Mr. Former President. I love you. This country belongs to all of us. So this issue is very, very unfortunate. It's painful. You go to America, they are talking about Nigerian corruption. You go anywhere, Nigeria corruption.
Is this not
There's
also
corruption
a
all
way,
over the world.
Is this not also a way to fight corruption? Abdulmumin Jibrin has come out as a whistleblower. I did listen to him. He said he will soon be 40. He doesn't want to take this thing beyond 40. He's 40 years of age and all of that. But anyway, let's read the comments coming through from people watching. Nigerians are watching and they have their views.
I thought maybe let me just make a comment as to whether the comments, I mean the allegations by Abdulmumin Jibrin should actually be swept under the carpet. That's not what we're saying. As a lawyer, there's no crime called budget padding. It's not known to a penal legislation, as far as I'm concerned. And in any event, if we're talking about padding in relation to zonal and constitutional projects, it does not even arise.
Are there situations whereby the honorables of the House will say, okay, let us add this money for our own?
Which our own? What do you mean our own?
For our own benefits.
When you are saying our own, say our constituency project, the constituency, money is not coming to my pocket. It's not the cash that comes in. That's what people are thinking, that, oh, this budget is cash. It's just it's in your pocket. That is absolutely wrong. That is not the issue here.
Okay.
So the constituency project is domicile and MDAs, ministry, departments, and agency. Yeah. That's where the budgets are domicile. The executive are the one that execute the project, not E.J. Agbonima, that they want to paint me black. I just came in here. This is my first time in the house. I can't go back home and people are thinking that, maybe the constituency project, the millions and all that is in my pocket. Where is it? I don't have it. I don't even have a car.
Okay.
What is all this?
You don't have a car provided by the House?
Yes.
Okay. So you are driving your personal car now?
Yes.
Okay, Honorable Simon.
My plea is this, that because what is happening now, because I think the press just looks it just fine, in the sense that I think there's a deliberate attempt to actually pass judgment. These are mere allegations as far as I'm concerned. They're allegations. But as far as I'm concerned, if you are talking about padding because projects have been put in a budget before they have been accepted into law, to me, no law has been breached. Thank you very much.
Can I tell you something? I'm sorry. I don't want to lose this thought. There's an issue here. Mr. President Buhari, fighting this war against corruption. People were caught. They unearthed corrupt officer. Billions of taxpayers' money stolen. And some people are saying, oh, don't mention their name. Don't release their name. We don't want to know them. Why shouldn't we know? Why shouldn't they be prosecuted? I am begging, I'm appealing to Mr. President Buhari. We want to know those who have robbed Nigeria these billions and taxpayers' money, trillions of naira. Because our former president is running from pillar to pole. What is he going to do in the villa? Okay,
a comment is coming through now for you from Adesanya Adebolu. Let me read it for Honorable EJ. He says, please ask your honorable guest if he will be willing to report President Obasanjo to the EFCC, because you've mentioned President Obasanjo a few times now. Would you be willing to report him to the EFCC? Since you said he's the most corrupt, that is the godfather of corruption.
Okay, listen to me. We in Nigeria, we are not cowards. Obasanjo came when he left prison. He didn't have up to 20 million. Today he has the biggest farm in Africa. His library was funded by taxpayers' money, billions. And today he's parading himself. So when you are talking about all this, and he spent 50 million to each House of Rep member, 360, and 109 senator, 100 million for total.
That's a strong allegation.
It's not strong allegation.
That's what Adesanya says. Are you willing to report him?
He sold Apple legislative quarter. He sold them. He sold everything.
Okay.
because of third term. And
Okay.
guess what? They took his money and voted against him. So that's his cry. That's why he's weeping. That is his
Okay.
cry today.
All
He
right.
cannot forgive
Okay.
National
Let's
Assembly.
read the other comment because I need a lot of comments are coming
no,
through from
we,
Nigerians.
I mean, we expect that, but Honorable, I'm not too sure that because if you read the paper some other day, I have been in the House only since 2011. I was not in the House in 2000 and, in the 6th Assembly. But I don't think it is right to say that every member of the House of Reps or...
Some member refused to take.
I mean, that's
Okay.
the
Some member refused to
Honorable
take.
EJ, can we just read some comments
Yes.
coming through? Abani Kada says, if Jubril is not revealing this important information, please, who will? It doesn't matter who reveals it. It must be investigated. Okay. Amin
agree.
says, it is the prayers of the poor man. We will soon hear the name of other people trying to shortchange us. God bless the whistle blowers. Okay, let the truth be told. Says, I feel your honorable guests are emotional on the pardon issues and evading your critical questions. Chairman says, let this people concentrate on legislative business and forget constituency projects. Okay, let me quickly read. Cornell says, your guests are defending the indefensible. NAS has lost credibility. Gloria says, why hasn't Mr. President punished those that stole in the past as he promised? That's the reason for the proliferation of crime now. Okay, Odia Kennedy says our former President Obasanjo should face his business. He's the father of corruption. Let EFCC probe his administration. John McAfee says, constituencies project, what have you seen in your own constituency, Nancy? Please let us know. I haven't seen anything in my constituency, I must tell you the truth.
But until proven guilty,
I haven't
you
seen
are
anything
an
in my
innocent.
constituency,
No, that's all
really.
right. Go ahead.
And I have honorable members representing.
You are from Delta?
Yes, I'm from Delta, Anyocha North local government to be precise. Osa Asemota said the National Assembly has power to legislate on appropriation up and down. Falana is just clowning to the gallery. Okay, that's the much we can take concerning comments because I really have to go. But Honorable, in 10 seconds if you can, what's your final word? Quickly, because we have to go
Well,
now.
until proven guilty, you are an innocent. You must give a fair play, a fair hearing for anyone that is being alleged for any crime. So we are not the one to decide. This no. Once we go to public opinion court, people always have different opinion.
Okay.
But I want us to do what is necessary to make sure that we do our investigation. Yes, if other external body want to investigate, you know.
Okay, I think I have to halt you at this time.
I think Nigeria belongs to all of us.
Honorable Simon, quickly your closing remark.
My plea to Nigerians is that we should not be quick to pass judgment. Neither is it good if fair to make this kind of generalizations on an institution. As a matter of fact, if we're interested in democracy, we should not run down the National Assembly.
All right, but it should also be pointed out when the National Assembly is going wrong. But anyway,
nobody's above the law.
Yes, let's
nobody's
leave it at
above
that,
the law. I am
gentlemen.
not above the law.
Let's leave it
Mr.
at
President
that.
is not above the law.
Let's leave it
Nobody's
at
above
that.
the
Thank
law.
you very much, gentlemen,
You're
for
welcome.
coming.
You're
Honorable Ije Agbon Nayima, he's the Chair Ad Hoc Committee, Nigeria Railway Corporation, Federal Ministry of Transport, and Shopi, you've heard him. Shopi will be investigated, while he's also the Chairman, United States Congressional and Nigeria House of Reps Parliamentary. And Honorable Simon Arabo, a member of the House of Reps representing Karu Federal Constituency of Kaduna State, Chairman House Committee on Delegated Legislations. Thank you very much for joining us today. Please join us again tomorrow, same time. Be the best you can be and be the change you want to see. Thank you very much also for your tweets. Have a wonderful day, everyone. God bless Nigeria. Bye now.